Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. Like its predecessor, it reimagines its namesake with modern graphics and game design techniques, retelling the story of Cloud and friends through gorgeous cutscenes and innovative real-time combat set pieces. Rebirth goes beyond its predecessor, however, carrying itself with a brazen confidence that charms and delight. The tale picks up right where Remake left off. Having escaped the dystopian megacity of Midgar, the gang ventures out into the world on their quest to stop Sephiroth and his apocalyptic designs. The voice acting and writing are fantastic. Even throwaway side quests will be laden with emotional and impactful dialogue. Its plausible real-time combat is slick and rewarding too. During my playthrough, I found myself actively going out of my way to get into fights, a testament to how enjoyable Rebirth's battles truly are. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth stands shoulder to shoulder with many of the best JRPGs on account of its exceptional storytelling, deep turn-based combat, and a plethora of feel-good moments. Ryu ga Gotoku Studios' latest RPG follows the story of ex-Yakuza Ichiban Kasuga and Kazumo Kiryu as the pair search for Kasuga's missing biological mother. Full of dramatic twists and turns, Infinite Wealth has all the theatrical appeal of a Final Fantasy or a Persona title. What's more, if you get overloaded on high-stakes organized crime drama, the RPG boasts a large number of bizarre yet charming minigames like karaoke and organized Pokemon-esque street fights. No matter what you're doing, Infinite Wealth wears its heart on its sleeve, a quality that endears it to fans across the world. Final Fantasy XVI is a decidedly new look for the long-running JRPG franchise. For one, it's got a much darker and more medieval feel, similar to Game of Thrones, and very different from the last numbered entry. With this moodier tone, it manages to tell a truly epic tale of kings, queens, and monsters, all centered around new brooding protagonist Cloud. Newcomers will be delighted to hear that FF16 might just be the best jumping in point in decades, with an action-fucking combat system that feels more like Devil May Cry at times. There's still plenty of RPG world design and all the trappings of a classic Final Fantasy, and its selection of boss fights and magical abilities, but things are definitely more streamlined and less clunky than the last few games in the series. Give this one a try if you're looking for a JRPG that contains all of the modern design tendencies you'll know from playing more recent RPGs. No list of the best JRPGs would be complete without NieR Automata. The brainchild of Hatsujoko Taro, NieR Automata follows the story of a group of androids asked to reclaim the planet Earth from a machine army that has long since overrun the planet's surface. Expect slick, real-time combat punctuated with jaw-dropping cuts. The title also plumbs some rich philosophical depths, asking questions about free will, human agency, and morality, all while maintaining that iconic Yokotaro style. When it comes to style, Persona 5 Royal is arguably the best JRPG here. The entire game oozes cool, from the acid jazz aesthetic to the incredibly catchy soundtrack. The turn-based combat is dynamic and rewarding. Even the loading screens are slick as heck. This game's aesthetic lives in my head rent-free, and should you try the title, it may well take up residence in yours too. What really sets Persona 5 apart, though, is the strength of its character. The ensemble is charming and swiftly worms its way into your heart with authentic dialogue and relatable dramas. Thanks to this, Persona 5's high-concept story, which revolves around a gang of teenagers using supernatural powers to steal the desires of corrupt adults, feels strangely grounded, lending the game an enduring appeal. Tales of Arise was one of the highlights of 2021, even winning RPG of the Year at that year's Game Awards. The reasons for this can be largely attributed to what came before its 16 entries of a beloved but often overlooked JRPG series, with the 17th refining and remixing to its strength. For the first time in a long time, new players were flocking to the Tales series in droves, finding a deep, rewarding, and visually stunning experience that served as a reminder of why JRPGs are so special. As you explore the world of Dona, you'll meet a diverse and genuinely unique cast of characters, explore natural environments that change in appearance over time, and engage in combat alongside your party members. Perfect for fans of classic JRPGs and those looking for a new world to fall in love with. Metaphor ReFantazio is the latest from Atlas and comes packed with a similar combat system, plenty of socializing with comrades, and a gripping narrative filled with colorful characters. It's much more fantasy themed than anything else in Atlas roster, however, focusing on an election following the death of the reigning king. Your aim is to take the throne, and you must win over the hearts and minds of the people in order to do so. While the vibe is certainly different to a Persona game, Metaphor ReFantazio shares much of the same DNA. There's an obsessive commitment to style that leeches from every inch of the game, from the fast-paced combat to the way the UI and music collide. Expect to stick around 80 hours to complete the main story here. Rest assured, the investment is well worth it. Metaphor ReFantazio is a modern JRPG triumph, and likely one that'll be fondly referenced for years to come. Sea of Stars is an indie gem offering a loving recreation of the 16-bit JRPGs of the 1990s. Though the entire game is a nod to some of the best JRPGs ever made, Sea of Stars doesn't needlessly shackle itself to the past. Sabotage Studios' latest offering embraces modern improvements when it comes to both game systems and storytelling. Filled with witty dialogue that feels lifted from the likes of Undertale, Sea of Stars has a wholesomeness to it that'll please fans of cozy classics like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing: New Horizons. What's more, the game offers a cunning twist on turn-based combat, asking the player to time button presses to attacks and blocks to get bonuses. It's a small change, but serves to make the battles much more involved, keeping you on your toes as you play. In our review, we called it a wholesome adventure full of laughs, danger, and twists. Well worth your time if you like your JRPGs more old school. Persona 3 Reload is a reimagining of the original RPG, adding in a whole host of new features while bringing up the presentation and visual quality to be in line with Persona 5's. This means stripping out some of the game's filler and adding in some new combat system. The base experience is still largely the same, and fans of the original will no doubt find, thanks to some excellent art direction, Persona 3 Reload is one of the best-looking RPGs ever made, with a striking blue and yellow motif throughout. Everything from the UI to the menus oozed with style, all combining with captivating action fake as combat to create something that really leaves an impression. As you investigate the mystery of the Dark Hour, slay powerful enemies, and navigate the trials and tribulations beyond high school, you'll slowly gather a group of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition gives more players a chance to jump in and experience one of the best JRPGs ever made. As the newest resident of New Los Angeles, humanity's massive home base was successfully landed on Mira mostly intact. You're swiftly encouraged to join Blade, a handy shortening of builders of the legacy after the destruction of Earth. An elite force tasked with everything from exploring Mira and subduing threats to gathering resources and keeping the peace on the home ground. Mira is a blast to explore with grand vistas that consistently floor you. The combat is extremely technical but always fun, and getting around is a real highlight thanks to a flight-capable mech that you unlock a little ways into the story. You're encouraged to head out and expand the map, learning more about the alien inhabitants of Mira at pretty much your own pace. The story that unfolds as you do is truly epic and definitely not one you want to miss. perhaps the best JRPG on Nintendo Switch. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 tells the story of a world stuck in a perpetual war for reasons long since forgotten by the majority of the combatants. No prior knowledge of the Xenoblade series is necessary to enjoy the tightly plotted story or the jaw-dropping environments. Or the game does reward long-time fans with the occasional Easter egg. The science fantasy RPG follows a core cast of 6 characters, all of whom have serious chemistry and are brought to life by thoughtful voice performances and charming dialogue. The combat is excellent, boasting gripping real-time action as well as buckets of customizability. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 also takes on heavy themes ranging from personal grief to the military-industrial complex. As far as we're concerned, it's a must-buy for JRPG fans of the genre who are in Nintendo Switch. If you're looking for a modern JRPG, which features all of the trimmings of a classic one, Dragon Quest XI is the best choice. Excellent turn-based combat is paired with more modern world design, including a vibrant opening world filled with colorful characters to meet. While Dragon Quest XI won't be for everyone, it is perhaps the most sincere love letter to the JRPG genre on this list. You'll make wacky allies, take down fearsome foes, and uncover a twisted mystery. A phone for those that love old-school RPGs but want something that measures up to today's graphics and visuals. Final Fantasy XIV may well have the strongest story on this best JRPGs list. Unlike every other game here, Final Fantasy XIV is one of the best MMOs too, offering years of content for new players. Though slow to start, the game's main story is fantastic, weaving together plot threads years in the making and endowing its characters with all the humanity and spirit you'd respect from a top-tier Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy XIV deals with some heavy themes over its hundreds of hours of storytelling. Set in a high fantasy world riven with political turmoil, the story follows an ensemble cast of characters as they unravel an apocalyptic conspiracy that threatens to unravel all of creation. What's more, the hero of this story is yours to customize and make your own. A feature rarely seen in JRPGs. Come for the anime haircuts, but stay for the touching story beats and lovable characters. Chained Echoes is an indie project that punches far above its weight, easily securing a place on our best JRPGs list. On the surface, it's a homage to the classic 16-bit era of the genre. Fans of Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI will feel right at home thanks to the game's rich ensemble storytelling. However, Chained Echoes adds modern flair to the old formula, offering savvy, self-awareness dialogue alongside welcome changes to traditional turn-based combat. What's captivating about Chained Echoes is how every aspect of the game reinforces the others. Dispensing with random battles, developer Matthias Linda opted to deliberately put encounters throughout the world, giving them a sense of place and depth. The title also boasts lavish visuals, which manage to catch the eye and stir the heart. Chained Echoes proves that you don't need cutting-edge graphics to make a cutting-edge game. If you're a fan of the classic 16-bit Final Fantasy games, you'll no doubt find plenty to love about Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, which brings the original game onto Nintendo Switch too. There's lost crystals, a cast of memorable heroes, and deep turn-based combat to enjoy here as you make your way across beautiful locales, bustling merchant towns. The former lets you spend points to execute up to 4 actions in a single turn, while the latter lets you focus on defense and the collection of points to use later. It's a brilliant system that rewards careful planning and tactical play, and really helps prove Bravely Default as a classic of the JRPG genre. On Switch 2, Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster shines with high-definition graphics and reworked online play. It's now the best way to play this underrated gem. Fire Emblem Three Houses brings strategy to our best JRPGs list in a big way. The Fire Emblem series is long in the tooth and has always been centered around turn-based tactical battles where the threat of permadeath hangs over every decision. Fire Emblem games are about learning more about your soldiers and growing to love them before they die tragically, leaving you with a broken heart. Three Houses dials this up to 11 by having you take on the role of a teacher at a military academy. Between battles, you train your students and form bonds with them, deciding how to best spend your time as a teacher. As you play the game and the main storyline develops, you'll become emotionally invested in the strategy JRPG's broadcasts of characters. Even if you disable permadeath, some tragic outcomes can be avoided, so bring tissues.